Xbox number 1, my Italian meatball, Brian Altano.
What's up, Nick?
How are you? Thanks for coming. Over there, the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino. We still got that goddamn.
My can of Overdrive seems to be empty.
Oh, so
what
we don't
will
have to
I
drink
do?
it? Oh, you got another one, don't you?
It's not even called
That
Overdrive.
sounded like
If you didn't know, we are sponsored by Overcharge, which is a terrible energy drink, and,
Wanna go down on some of
and
this?
the root of
No.
all the problems in
Wanna get a
Sunset
little drink?
Overdrive on the Xbox One. Nick won't.
No.
Nick
Well,
is.
it smells like fear. Just fear and sweat.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Just like
and
my
that's
high
the
school. It's like high school.
concentrated. It's concentrated.
That tastes great. That's a good drink.
Lead news story: Wolverine is dead.
What?
Wolverine
Thank God.
dead. Logan dead.
He's been plaguing comic books for far too long. Wolverine. We gotta just
Plaguing
get him out
comics?
of there. Just get him out of there.
Yeah, you're joking.
I'm totally joking, of course. Wolverine's an awesome character.
He died?
Yeah,
What
he's
happened?
dead. I'm not gonna spoil it
Don't
for everybody.
spoil it.
here.
You just
I'm not
spoiled
gonna
it for me. I'm sitting right here.
There's a 4-issue miniseries called The Death of Wolverine. I can't.
Yeah.
All right.
We knew it was
happening.
coming. This is happening for a while. People knew he was going down. His healing ability was gone.
Man, it's a shame too, because when you die in a comic book, you almost never.
never come back.
Yeah, you never
You're
come
done.
back. That, of course, is the joke. Wolverine will be back, I'm sure, soon
Yeah.
enough. They'll put a bunch of different people in his suit for a while.
So how'd
Wolverine of America.
How'd they finally get him?
I'm not going to spoil it for the people in the audience or the ones watching
You gotta
the show.
support the comic book industry also. It'll
Yeah.
be, the comic books will die one day. And then you
What
won't
was
be
that?
able to.
That with your
You'll
hand?
have to just read. You won't be able to go to comic book shops. You'll have to just read them on your couch all day.
You're making it look like the comic book industry is supported by lazy wizards. Oh, this. Bring back the Wolverine. What's that? Oh,
Yeah, he comes back, but he's like slightly off. He doesn't like have all. He's just like,
he's only got one claw. He's like, I'm gonna annoy you.
I'm gonna annoy you.
I'm gonna annoy you.
Hey, Bubbles, you really.
Who's Bubbles?
That's what he says to people when he comes back. Just move
All
on.
right, let's move on.
Are you upset, Brian? What do you think that Wolverine's dead?
I mean, I don't know how they finally got him. Like, isn't everything about him supposed to keep him from dying?
Right. Well, they took all that away.
So then it's not Wolverine. That's just a guy died. A Canadian man died. That's not a story. Canadian man dies in comic book is not a story. I'm sorry. Nice show.
It's barely even a story in Canada. Yeah.
Are you sad?
No.
Oh, great. It's a no.
My main question off of this is, what is the next comic book character that should die? Wolverine's dead. Great. He'll be back in a year and a half.
I
probably
think they
less.
need to put Professor X out of his misery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you
What?
saying
Because
that-
he's in a wheelchair? He's got to live forever? It's not even a real wheelchair.
It's a hover chair. It's
He's
so
a
cool.
millionaire with mind powers. He'll be fine. But he should die.
I don't read a ton of comics. I will, but I want to see Captain America die.
Again?
Yeah. Did he die already?
Yeah.
Well then.
So you can say anything. Any answer you can say.
Man, I wish I had done research ahead of time to like pull out the book and be like, your wish is granted.
Let's start with how many people have already died.
Everybody.
The Archie died this year. They brought him back. Yeah.
No.
Is he back yet, though?
I think he's back, yeah. I saw a comic book with him on it the other day, so I assume they're either... Actually, they could run the same issue from 1950 forever and no one knows. Oh, that boy's getting in trouble again. Oh, he's safe. It's
He
fine.
stole some candy from the barber shop.
Which of these girls will he bang? Nobody knows.
Wow, I don't think that was I don't think that was Archie.
No,
That was the whole story. In
Betty
Archie.
or Veronica.
He was just getting into that.
And then,
And
then
Did I not read an
then
Archie
to,
comic
then
book
to
correctly?
capitalize on it, they made 2 different books for alternate history and timeline where he married one of them.
Was he cheating on that one with the
No,
other one?
because there was one with Betty and one with
Yeah.
Veronica.
This is a twisted comic book.
I really
you
hope
guys
they
are
make
reading.
one with Mr. Weatherby. I could have held it the entire time if the only laugh wasn't from the control room behind us. That only us and them can hear.
Audience was like, nope. Control room was like, heh, that's great. He would get free milkshakes.
I made that great Mr. Weatherby joke. Remember that episode?
Let's move
Alex is
on.
the
to
worst.
topic
That
of
says a lot about the
conversation.
caliber of people we hire here.
I want you both to reach now into your brains for story number 2. All right, because stick with me. It's not a news item.
Do you need some of this before we go?
Stop, no.
Take a little swig. Take a little cannonball. Cannonball. All right. There it is.
Oh my God. I want to know. Halloween's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Traditionally at Up and Noon, we sleep on that kind of stuff. We forget about it. One fan of Halloween. I want to know the worst Halloween costume you've ever seen or been in.
Oh, man. The worst I've ever seen is Cat in a Tree which is
That's genius.
no, it was a dude who put like it was the day of, and he went to like Walgreens, he bought cat ears, and he went outside and he got a branch, and he was just like, "Where's the weed?" That's a real costume I saw. That guy probably got laid that night too, which is like, come why? Just why? Why? Who would have sex with somebody did? And it's just.
Are you sure about that? You got this whole story built up in your brain about this guy. It's just like, is he a senator now? Like, what does he do? I don't like, you know my thoughts on this. I don't like the people that have to explain the Halloween costume. So the most, like, there was one year when we all went, you guys all went as infamous characters.
Yeah,
and
it was awesome. It was a great costume. I was Zeke.
And they were the only 3 people who had played Infamous that time. No one else got it.
That is
Everyone
not
was
true.
like, you
Infamous
guys are.
was a hit PlayStation
Chris
franchise.
Ostertag had a ball of some sort that he was like, look at this ball. And I was like, what's the ball? No one knows what the ball is.
I like how you keep calling out Infamous. Way more obscure was Caleb and his wife dressed as Eco.
That's another one.
Yeah, why didn't you throw them under
That
the
was
bus?
so obscure, I don't even know. I thought
Infamous
they were
is
just-
a mainstream game.
I thought they were just dressing up. I had no idea what they were.
You just thought they were just
They were
chilling
just
out.
like chilling.
Oh, can I say the best Halloween costume I ever saw?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, why not?
You, one of the first years I met you,
I know
you
what
went
this
to
is.
Halloween, and I hope we can find a picture and put it
I
on the
have
show.
them. I already know what they are.
Alright.
As John McClane from Die Hard. And
was
he
a
had
fun
no
one.
beard, and the hair was like, he really worked with the receding hairline thing he's got there, which he covers up very well with all this beauty.
Yeah.
But he went like 5 o'clock shadow. He had cuts and scrapes all over him, and I think you even had fake glass in your feet or bandages.
I wrapped my feet in bandages, and it was funny because at the time I had to stop off at a few places before I came to the party. So I walked into all the places in character, and a couple people were like, "Do you need help?" And I was like,
No, I'm good.
Come out to the coast. We'll have a few drinks. We'll get together, have a few laughs." And they're like, "What? Are you trying to be John McClane from Die Hard?" No one asked me that question.
Really?
No, no one knew who I was. I mean, there was only a few people who were like, "Oh, that's hilarious," and everyone else was like, "This guy looks."
So
like
you
a street bum."
became the thing you hate. Somebody who had to explain their costume.
No.
Do you blame
on the streets of San Francisco? Yes, because I was like, this was a miscalculation. I have bloody feet. I'm dirty. And I look like I haven't showered. I look like I've been through a war, so I am just a bum. I am just a bum on the streets of San Francisco, and everyone's like, "Get away from this guy!" And I'm like, "But I smell good. I took a shower."
Yeah.
I did that
I was
once.
also lathering myself up with baby oil.
put
So
on
everything
the-
I touched was like oiled up.
I put on my fiance's nurse scrubs, and I put like a couple of cuts in them and a little bit of fake blood. And I got on the train, and people were just like, "Yo, that's a weird doctor." I didn't go all the way in, but people were like, "I don't know where that guy's. We gotta get away from that dude."
Like you're on the train, you just like one tear comes down, and like, this guy's having a bad day. I think the worst costume I ever had was I phoned it in one year. I was just Captain Kirk. I just went and bought a Captain Kirk costume. It was just not fun. Everyone was like,
that's not
"Oh,
cool.
Captain Kirk, we expected more
Right.
from you,"
Yeah.
and I disappointed myself. I was sad.
Whole reason I brought up this topic was to put up that image of Destin dressed as Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
Also, I don't know if that was Halloween. I think that dude just used to dress like that.
Fine by me. Third story, final story of the week. The Angry Birds movie cast has been announced. When you think, what? When you no, we're not on board with the Angry Birds movie, guys. This could be the first great video game movie.
Oh God, you're right.
Do you know the cast, Nick?
Yes.
Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll
To a
go
degree.
through it then. Peter Dinklage,
Yeah. The Dink.
Jason Sudeikis.
Don't do that.
The Dink, dude.
No one calls him the Dink.
By calling him
I know that for sure.
By calling
You can't-
him
you
Dink,
can't.
you're disrespecting Dink the Clown, Doink the Clown's friend from WWE.
Is that a Mr. Merriweather?
Thank you. One
joke?
fan of WWE.
It's also what the Jawas said in Spaceballs.
Peter Dinklage, Jason Sudeikis, Maya Rudolph. They're the main characters. In order, Sudeikis is Red. That's what his name is. Dinklage is Mighty Eagle. Rudolph is Matilda. Then if you... Danny McBride is in this film as well. Key from Key and Peele. It goes on like this. What are your expectations of this?
I don't think it's going to be good. But I think it's going to make a lot of money. It's
I
one of those,
don't
it's
think
going
it
to make
has
a ton
to
of
be
money.
good.
I mean, it's
matter.
co-produced by Sony and Rovio, and like Rovio obviously is giving the IP. There's not much there. I mean, I've played Angry Birds for all of 5 seconds, and I'm like, I don't remember it being a very compelling story.
Right.
With deep character, integration. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a kids movie, and it's going to sell like hotcakes.
I hope they do the Angry Birds Star Wars movie next, just to really dig the knife into Star Wars fans.
That
That wasn't canon. And
I hope it spins off into everything like Angry Birds, Fast and Furious would be amazing.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
too.
a good idea.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm disappointed you guys didn't make the cast. I'm sorry. You guys
well.
have amazing voices. You could have been Angry Birds.
As
Oh, it's me, a bird!
You guys could have been the pigs, yeah.
We'd be the pigs,
do a
yeah.
pig. Do an English pig.
Oh, it's It's me, the pink governor.
There you go. It's perfect.
Sure would like to buy your ticket, would I?
You're hired. You're hired. You're perfect.
Who's playing the cement blocks?
Now, see, no, you make a joke about
Christian
that,
Bale.
but I want you to know how they describe this. Other well-known,
I love how you described this.
well-known actors joining the Angry Birds cast include Danny McBride. This is the end as Bomb.
That sounds right for him.
Is he just a bomb?
Wait, who's Slingshot?
And Bill Hader as a member of the Pork Side. This is on their resume, people. This is their lives now.
They're probably getting paid a lot more than we are.
Good point. Speaking of making a lot of money, Greg Way, Borderlands makes all sorts of money. Here to tell me all about the pre-sequel is Anthony and Joel. How you doing? Anthony. Incredibly sick young man here, but toughing it out for us. Thank you so much. Of course, Borderlands is a pre-sequel. It needs no introduction. But here's what we all know about you, Anthony. You're this big YouTube star. You hate Australians. You said that before.
I'm on record as that.
Why are you working with this guy here? What is going on?
Because I've been forced to.
Yeah, he's actually trying to infect me.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. He's trying to take back the plague and wipe out all of
Specifically got
Australia.
bird flu just so I could finish
Send me
Australia.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to know, I guess 5 years ago, did any of you see your path leading to this? Not Up at Noon, of course. And everybody watching at home thinks one day they're going to end up on this show. But I mean, being on Borderlands, making this game, being part of this whole crazy universe.
God, no.
Yeah?
Not even in the slightest. I was making stupid YouTube videos with my sister.
Yeah. So, starting with you, how did that happen? How did you go from stupid YouTube videos with your sister to writing Borderlands?
From really bad decisions from people that work at Gearbox. I went to GDC to cover it because I was also at Destructoid as a blogger there.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. Horrible, horrible.
No, I'm kidding. I love them.
Yeah, they're great. No, I like them too. And met Mikey Newman, who's at Gearbox. He kept trying to hang out with me. I didn't understand why. I thought he was hitting on me, and it turned out, no, he'd seen Hey Ash, What You Playing, really liked it, and basically was covertly interviewing me for the job of writer for Borderlands 2.
Nice. So, I mean, I guess just based on what you guys were producing there, they thought you'd be a good fit for how wacky the universe
I
is?
guess. I don't know how they saw like 90-second long fart jokes on the internet and went, oh, this will be great, like over 60 hours in a game that's going to cost millions of dollars. But yeah, they did.
All right. And then Joel, how did you get to this point?
To Borderlands? Well, I've been at 2K for about 7 years. Started out in the wonderful world of QA.
Yeah?
On by
He shrugged. He just yeah, whatever this is.
I did all these awesome Bioshock games, and now the pre-sequel to Borderlands.
No, it's a totally different experience working on a Borderlands game. It's kind of freeing, you know. Bioshock, it all lives within Ken's mind, and it's this very serious. You can't have fart jokes. You can't have can't have a character like Claptrap in a Bioshock game.
Slightly resent you were pointing at me when you said fart jokes, like I'm the patron saint of those. But.
You're pretty good at it.
All right, thanks.
You're the best in the business.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun, you know, throwing competitions around the office saying, come up with the funniest side mission, or just like Easter eggs or references, or just, you know, people love the characters in Borderlands, and being able to have anyone, whether they're in QA or art or design or whatever, kind of suggest ideas for the story, for features, for playable characters, skills. It's been really awesome. It is a completely different experience to working on Bioshock.
Now, you talk about all the awesome stuff, you know, having the crazy competitions, fart jokes, and all this junk there. What about when did they come to you with this? Is there even a moment hesitation of like, oh wait, coming on to Borderlands, not being internal at Gearbox, you know what I mean, taking on this franchise that people do love quite a bit. Like, were you nervous about that?
Well, I mean, we've been working hand in hand with Gearbox. We have a team at Gearbox and 2K Australia working on the game, and I think we've all been playing Borderlands for so long that I hope at least that we get it pretty well. We have these two really good writers at 2K Australia, Maurice and Marek, who've been working with Anthony hand in hand, and I mean, it's kind of an expansion for the Borderlands universe anyway, because we're leaving Pandora, we're going up to the moon, and there's a different culture up there, so we were able to inject some of, you know, Commonwealth or English Australian culture and humor to this area. So I think it's been really good to kind of, you know, it's a big universe in Borderlands, and we're kind of proud and really honored to be able to put our stupid Australian part in it.
Yeah, everybody on the moon talks in Australian, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what
they
do?
are a bunch of ex-convicts and insane people living in a dangerous wasteland, and also in the game.
So there you go. It drew from your own experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every single day, it's just like living on a desolate moon.
That was the darkest thing you've ever said. That was horrific.
A lot of creatures there that can kill you, I hear.
People say that. I remember we had people that would come over from Irrational and visit us when we were working on the Bioshock games, and there were a few people that just flat out refused to even fly to Australia because they were convinced as soon as they got off a plane, a snake would jump at them, a spider would bite them, and they weren't kidding. Like,
well, in fairness, the first night that we were in Australia,
you were
Drew
ambushed by
Mobley
kangaroos.
almost got killed by a kangaroo. Like legit, like
Yeah.
the stupid parody way to die in Australia actually almost happened to him.
we kind of screwed up their hotel booking, so they were about 30 minutes out of town at some like school campground or something like that, and they're like, oh, let's go for a walk, and within 5 minutes they were surrounded by a pack of kangaroos.
Thank you for asking a pack? What do you mean?
Yeah, I
They're
didn't
just
know they came
roaming
in
the
packs.
countryside?
I guess. Well,
What did you do?
The way Drew told me the story is that there was just one of them, and he was real scared.
Oh, no, the way
and then
he-
they may have gotten bigger, so it was a whole pack, and he fought them off with a knife in his teeth.
rabid.
Yeah.
the story he told me was it was just like in World War Z, where Brad Pitt is standing there and all the zombies are running past him.
I prefer that story. That's way better.
Getting back to Borderlands, Anthony, similar question for you. I mean, obviously you worked on Borderlands 2, so I mean, you're already entrenched in the universe, but to go back and do like a pre-sequel, to go back in time and not worry about screwing up continuity or characters and stuff, like, was there hesitation on that front?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always, every time you think like, cool, I know what I'm doing, I feel comfortable in this suit, something changes really significant, and you're like, oh shit, it's all new again. And so, having never worked on a prequel or, really a sequel to something that I'd helped write before was a whole host of different sort of challenges that were also kind of fun. Like the fact that we have 4 playable characters that are all pre-existing NPCs in the Borderlands universe was like a fun thing to kind of try to wrap your head around. Okay, well, how would they react to these scenarios? And like, if Nisha is going to be this person who canonically, I already decided in Borderlands 2, like strangles puppies for fun, how am I going to make her like likable in the pre-sequel when you're playing as her? Or is it okay that she strangles puppies? Are you going to be like, yeah, I can't wait to be the puppy strangler? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of find out when people get their hands on it. But
Oh, so that's you just roll the dice. And you're
yeah, I
like,
really
"That's
don't
how it
know. I'm just hoping that people will play and go, oh, it's fun to play as a bad guy. Because really, the Borderlands games, even going back to the first one, which I didn't work on, have been the most gleefully amoral, I think, first-person shooter out there. That you're like, even the first one's like, yeah, you're a guy that came to this planet. Oh, like you are a hero, you're saving people. No, you just want a big treasure chest. Like, oh, am I gonna like save people together? No, you're just gonna kill people. Oh, am I gonna grab their corpses? Right? No, you're definitely gonna do that. That's all you're going to do, and you're gonna be super happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope people are sort of excited to play as bad dudes, and then we'll be able to do way more horrible stuff with the players in the future. Who knows?
Sure, yeah. Well, I guess that's a good question. Joel, like, what do you guys bring to it from a gameplay mechanic, right? And this is the third Borderlands in terms of first-person shooting, not including the Telltale game that's going on over there, or I'm sure the board games or the card games or the animated series or the breakfast cereal that's on its way too.
The Tiger LCD.
Like, what did you bring to this one to make
Yeah,
it
well,
different?
it definitely had to feel fresh for Borderlands and just as a game coming out towards Christmas time. And luckily, like when we started the game, the one thing we had to do was go to the moon, and that actually was the one thing that opened us up to make it feel completely fresh by adding the low gravity. Like it changes the core combat loop of the game because you're no longer coming into a space, hiding behind cover, guys popping out of cover, and you waiting, like every other first-person shooter for their head to pop up. Oh, shoot their head!
Yeah.
Like they'll just jump over and slam on you and try and knock you back, and you can do the exact same thing. And it sounds like a small change, but it really does change that. They talk about that 10-second, that 30-second combat loop. I mean, usually I play as Athena. When I come into a space, I like to try and get in as high as possible, bring out my shield, absorb all the damage, then throw it back at them to stun them, then slam, freeze, and shatter them. And that's just completely different to anything you could do in Borderlands before.
I guess that's something to point out, right? That each one of these characters has these different abilities. Athena, of course, her shield absorbs the damage and then repels it back, right?
Yep.
You throw it back, it'll give that wallop that you took.
Yeah, and of course you can upgrade. You have the 3 different skill trees, and I usually go down the Phalanx tree so I can absorb elemental damage. So if someone's shooting at me with ice bullets or with cryo bullets or something, I'll absorb that and then just throw it straight back at them. But yeah, I mean, the oxygen system as well, which allows you to do the double jump, it's changed the way we build the levels because, they have to go up higher. And they're bigger as well because you can move across them much quicker. So there were just these small things at the beginning where we thought, these are just some small changes we have to make to be a new Borderlands game that turned out being these massive changes that changed the way we actually built the game.
So first off, I want to comment and just tell you how much I loved how we were totally top level for a long time, and then all of a sudden it was skill trees and ice bullets and shields, and I was like, yeah, nerdy stuff for Borderlands. But that also brings me to a question of, I mean, when you guys were, I guess, on the outside with me, here being normies, and then like you're working at 2K, so whatever. But when Borderlands originally comes out, did you think it would proliferate this way, that it would be this big of a success? Because I remember the first time Randy Pitchford talked about it, he's like, oh, I got 1 million guns, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah,
like,
that can't be a thing that's in a game. That's nonsense. You made up a thing. Yeah, you just made up a buzzword. Yeah, no, I certainly felt the same way when the first one came out, where I played it and I was like, this is really sad. This is like, I said it at the time, and I guess I stand by it because it's gonna sound bad, but whatever. It's like just video game porn. Like it's just straight. It's a shot straight to your arteries of like all the things you kind of like in video games that are meaty and not, it's not high art, it's not cart life or anything like that, but it really, really just tickles all those pleasure centers of the brain at the same time. And I knew early on that there was like something there. And it's gonna sound arrogant to say it now, but I was like, man, Borderlands 2 is gonna be really good. I remember thinking that when I first played they're gonna get the story better. Yeah, no, I did not think that.
I mean, Joel, same question. I mean, did you see it taking off? Did people think it
Yeah,
was
well,
going to be a
we
thing?
actually played like a version of Borderlands about 1.5 years before it came out in the office, and we were like, wow, this is actually going to be huge. I really didn't like Claptrap.
Oh, good.
At the
Good to know that changed.
No, you know what? In Borderlands 2, I mean, Borderlands 1 for me was all about the gameplay mechanics and everything. Borderlands 2, I actually really, really love the story. So, sorry to make you feel good about the work that you did. But the story is really good, and I'm really glad that we've been able to work together on the story for Borderlands, because it's so awesome going to PAX and Gamescom, seeing these people dress up and how invested they are in the characters. We even saw at PAX Prime, a few people from the pre-sequel, and I've seen losers and bookers dressed up before, but nothing like Borderlands. I mean, people get so invested with the story and the characters.
That's the most bananas thing. It's like, A, that is a really, really hard cosplay to make. B, that game's not even out yet. Yeah. That character could be like a raging racist for all you know. Like that could be Athena. The thing could secretly be a racist that you wouldn't know and you dress as her.
I think something really cool that we did when we were designing Athena, for example, she has a tattoo. And at first, it was just something we put on there because there was a blank spot in her arm, but then we were like, whoa, we have to go back and actually design a really cool tattoo because someone's going to get this tattoo, and we don't want it to be lame. Yeah. And I think the fact that we can actually think about that kind of stuff, knowing that people are going to invest themselves in these characters, is really awesome.
Yeah, when we design characters now, we always think of cosplay, which is a strange thing to admit, but yeah, we don't.
You have people walk in, you're like, no, that won't work.
No, we don't have to
I don't like
or
where
anything,
this is
that'd be cool.
coming. No. All right, final question, and it's going to sound like a loaded one, I swear it isn't. Is there, here we are, the week of release of the game, has your expectations, or I guess the pressure on you, your own personal pressure, changed at all based on the current video game climate? Namely, another first-person shooter game with...
Mestiny?
Yeah, rhymes with... Yeah, okay, well, we went a weird way with that.
Weird way to say that. I apologize. I'm sick. I don't know.
But I mean, like, that game comes out, right? And it's like this very divisive, the loot isn't as good as Borderlands, or this, that, the other. Immediately, there's all these comparisons. Do you not have time to worry about what other people are doing, and worry about it on your own thing? You're just worried about your game?
Yeah, I mean, we were so close to the end of the road on pre-sequel. By the time Destiny came out, we were like, cool. I mean, even if there was things we wanted to change based on this.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know what Destiny was by the time we decided what this game was going to be. And I think there's room for them to exist. I think they're totally different.
Yeah, they both really want to do super different things.
Sure.
I think the big moment for me was when they had the Moon Wizard line and then they cut it from the full game. Yeah. And I was like, oh, we would have done the exact opposite. We would have had the guy come back in and like do a hammier, worse read, and then play it like 5 different times throughout the game, just to remind you of this bad line that we put in. And I was like, oh, that's fine. We'll do that when we screw up in that particular way, and that'll be fun.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming by.
No problem.
I want you to feel better.
I do too.
All right. You keep feeling good.
Yeah, he's not going to kill off Australia that easily.
All right, good. Good to know Australia will remain. Ladies and gentlemen, Borderlands, the pre-sequel is out this week. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.